Now we have Neha Chakravarti, who will talk about what defines a nation in English.
My salutations at the feet of Holy Trio to all the Matajis, Ammas, Akkas, and my dear friends. Swamiji says, if ever there is any land on the earth that can be laid claim to be called as the blessed Punya Bhumi, the land of introspection and spirituality, it is India. The national vitality of India, that is its religion, defines our nation. When a family was hit by a flood in Andhra Pradesh, the family was suffering. And when a few school students collected essentials and went to give them, they themselves were suffering and they did not have adequate food for themselves. But they still served food to these children. This defines our nation. We worship the waters as Mother Ganga. We pray to the tree. And we give them the same reverence as we give to God. This defines our nation. The foreign nations have conquered the world with deluge of blood. We never did that. Our nation never tried to conquer. It never tried to shed blood. It always tried to shed the words of calmness, peace, and love. And this is what defines our nation. It is here alone that the idea of toleration was first preached and it was practically shown too. This defines our nation. A young European lady once asked Swamiji, Swamiji, what have you Hindus done? Meaning the people of Bharat, you have never even conquered a single nation. Swamiji said, the greatness of India is because we never conquered. This defines our nation. It is the very land where our ancestors gave refuge to the persecuted communities from all around the world. And we still have special rights even today in our constitution. This defines our nation. It is the very land where the greatest of kings bow down at the feet of sages who live in the forest and not to other kings. This defines our nation. It is a land which withstood the tyranny, the colonialism and invasions for centuries together, and it still stood firm. This defines our nation. The land where the greatest of women like Mother Sita, Gandhari, Draupadi, who were embodied with purity, valor, and wisdom, they define our nation. But how was all this possible? It was because of India's glorious past, and that is what defines our nation. The national vitalities of India are spirituality and religion. If they die, the nation dies. Swamiji said, I could not preach religion to Americans without showing its practical effect on social life. I could not even preach religion in England without showing its practical effects on political changes Vedanta could bring. In India, there are reforms, there are political changes, but their base is always religion. And that is what defines our nation. Swamiji said, those great masters who were content enough to write their books, even without mentioning their names, leaving the books to posterity. Who knows who were the writers of our Puranas and our philosophy? They were all under the same generic name of Vyasa, Kapila, and so on. They are the true children of Sri Krishna. They are the true followers of Gita. And this is what defines our nation. And when our nation was in great distress, many foreign women left their own motherland. They came to our country and they served our people. They define our nation. Women like Sister Nivedita, Sister Christine. Sister Nivedita was filled with patriotism. India's shame and pride became a personal shame and pride. Never did she utter India's needs, India's women. She always said, our women, our needs. And most importantly, the youth, that is we, define our nation. There was degradation in the past. Swamiji said it was necessary in order for the future to become more glorious. But this degradation was in music. The degradation was in art. There were no more soul-stirring ideals of the ancient Sanskrit music. The notes lost its individuality. Therefore, we should imbibe that culture into our knowledge, that Indianness into our art, into our music. Even Sister Nivedita said to Abhinandranath Tagore, who was a great artist, to bring more Indianness into his paintings of Bharat Mata. Sister Nivedita infuse the patriotism into the hearts of greatest of artists, poets and writers. Such was the level of patriotism Sister Nivedita had. Let us imbibe that patriotism into ourselves. Swamiji says, the more therefore the Hindus study the past, the more glorious will become their future. And what defines our nation today is the conglomeration of Western science and Vedanta. Swamiji had immense faith in the youth. He said he wanted each one of us to become a patriot. He said, feel therefore my would-be patriots. Do you feel that millions are starving? Do you feel that ignorance has covered our land like a dark cloud? Does it make you restless? Does it make you sleepless? Has it made you almost mad? That is the first step to become a patriot, the very first step. Our India shall become the Vishwaguru once again, the teacher to the world. Let us all work hard for this dream of Swamiji, with Shraddha in our past, in our ancestors, and in ourselves. Swamiji says, let us all work hard, my brethren. There is no time for sleep. On our work depends the coming of the India of the future. She is there ready waiting. She is only sleeping. Arise and awake and see her seated on her eternal throne, rejuvenated, more glorious than she ever was. This motherland of ours. Thank you.